If, like me, you're about to make an offer on a property you think just might be your dream home, you'll want to know what sort of condition the property is really in, rather than how the estate agent has presented it. In this situation, you've probably got a few options. You might be thinking of a level 2 survey, a level 3 survey, or just hoping for the best and being sure in your own mind that nothing could possibly go wrong. I'm Tim Clarke, Managing Director of Harris & Clarke Chartered Surveyors, and I'll be considering what's included and what's not in an RICS level 2 home survey. Firstly, what's included is pretty straightforward. When you instruct Harris & Clarke for a level 2 survey, our surveyor will inspect every part of the building, including the roof space, the gutters, walls, floors and everything else. We'll also be looking at the services, the grounds and anything that can be inspected from ground level during a single site visit. From this, we will be able to give you a written assessment of what the building is made of, what condition the building fabric is in, and details of any remedial work that's required. Although our surveyors are really pretty good, they don't have X-ray vision, and as such they aren't able to look into the parts of the building that have been covered up. So while they will tell you about the assumed condition of the floor structure and foundations, what they won't be doing is taking up and removing parts of the building, so these will be subject to a visual assessment only. The reason for this is that the level 2 report is a fairly straightforward check of the property and is really only appropriate for buildings we see quite a lot. Imagine 1970s mid-terrace, 1980s semi, or perhaps even a newer property built within the last 10 years. Level 2s are best used for properties that are straightforward and are unlikely to bring up unwelcome surprises. In comparison with the level 3 surveys, we don't go into quite as much detail as when we're instructed in level 2s. We assume that we're being instructed on the basis that there is no real concern with the building to start with. If you already have some concerns with your building, you might be better off with the level 3 report, which will go into much more detail and tell you more about future maintenance requirements. Level 2 surveys are effectively a snapshot of the building as the surveyor sees it, so they're not going to be telling you that in 10 years' time you're going to need to repoint the chimney, although if you have a conscientious surveyor, they might also throw that in anyway. Unlike our level 3 surveys, which we offer on all types of property, when we recommend remedial work, we won't try to give you an estimate of the value of any repairs required in a level 2. This can sometimes limit the usefulness of a level 2 survey, as we understand that surveys can be used for a number of purposes. Of course, primarily they're used as a tool to ensure that you know how to manage future repairs for your building, but also they can be very useful for renegotiating the asking price, and perhaps dropping the asking price by a few £1,000s, or in some cases, a lot more than that. Like I said, level 2 surveys are appropriate for purchasers buying straightforward properties which on the face of things look to be in good condition. We do occasionally get asked to complete a level 2 survey on system build properties such as precast concrete or other buildings that might have been designated defective, but we will always turn down these instructions on the basis that these properties are so specialist that we consider you should only really be buying them fully informed with a much more detailed description of the issues that can arise. Level 2s should only be instructed on the basis of simplicity of the property and not on your budget. If you are considering a level 2 survey rather than a level 3 only on the grounds that it will cost you less, then perhaps this isn't the right report for you. If a survey details significant amounts of remedial work and you're already strapped for cash, then level 2 surveys will not highlight the extent of the expenditure that could be required in the future. While it might not sound like a useful proposition at the time, spending more money on a level 3 survey can bring significant benefits and will often save far more than the additional cost of the report. Unfortunately, over recent years, building costs have risen significantly, and so if you're struggling to afford the cost of a survey, you will certainly struggle with the cost of some remedial measures. A level 2 survey is more likely than a level 3 survey to recommend that further assistance from a third party is required, simply as a result of the reduced specification that our surveyors are required to follow for write-ups. On the whole though, if you come to Harris & Clarke for a level 2 survey, we do significantly exceed the requirements for the RICS home survey standards. As a result, if we find an issue with the building, we will give you much more information than many of our competitors would. With that said, when comparing costs of level 2 reports, we recommend asking for sample reports to check whether your apparently bargain survey is really going to be value for money, or will simply tell you for each element this is in fair condition and should be maintained as usual, rather than going into details of issues which are clearly visible and which you might not have seen during your own inspections. Our friendly team at Harris & Clarke can be contacted through our website on harrisonclarke.co.uk.